the Vico Capital. I'm Bangao, and today we really have a special guest to join with us. Actually, we are at the Invincible in Ho Chi Minh City, and we take this opportunity to have a talk with them. Please welcome to the Jack, the CPO of the Contentos, and the CMO
Head of marketing,
Yeah, today we're gonna talk about a lot of things about your cooperations, your strategies in the future. So we hope that what you share will be the useful information to the Vietnamese community. So all we know that the Facebook released the white paper about Libra cryptocurrency. So do you think that if the Libra is accepted, when the government countries, especially the central banks, oppose this plan? So let's talk with Minh.
So I think, like I see Libra as entry point of crypto into more of the masses right now. So Libra, as you know, it's more of a currency than it is other blockchain projects, right? It is meant to be used as a currency, right? And because Facebook has a billion user base, and because Libra has a strong partnership with like Uber, Spotify, and some of their advisors include like Andreessen Horowitz and some of these big guys. I think it really it is a like a faith building project for crypto that people can, because crypto, like a lot of the projects in crypto are they're relatively weak, right? And it's not very public friendly right now. So I think Libra does have that potential to increase mass adoption for cryptocurrency right now. Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
Yes. So how about you? What do you think about the Libra is accepted?
Yeah, I'm optimistic about this because just like Garland has shared that Facebook has 1 billion users. So for this kind of company to have this cryptocurrency to the market, I think it's easier for the massive users to adopt, and also they get a chance to cooperate with the government and many local vendors to actually the fiat to the cryptocurrency. So for us as the blockchain project, we are looking forward to it, and also it will build a gateway for general public to adopt cryptocurrency, and then we can build upon it. So there will be exchange upon Libra token to our token in the future. So we are very looking forward to it.
Okay, so the blockchain Harmony and the blockchain Contentos are the two different platforms. So we thought that you will be the competitors in the future, but so how do you cooperate with others? So what strength make you to cooperate? And how many?
So we already have a partnership released right now. So we have a Contentos and Harmony as a partnership. Right now, the way we're working together is so we have a couple of dApps like Harmony Puzzle that's been really widely used. Like I think we were played in 170 different countries, and it was played by over 70,000 people. So a portion of that was because we were able to leverage Contentos and some of their platforms, like Photogrid, some of the really popular platforms that they already have. They were generously able to drive traffic from their platform to like our our Harmony Puzzle. So that's one of the ways where we can kind of like where we've been sharing. I think in the future, yes, they are a blockchain, we are a blockchain as well, but I think there's still, because they're more of the content platform, and we are more of a layer 1 protocol, depending on like how we develop as a protocol. There might be, if they have a lot of a lot of need for higher TPS and then faster blockchain, we'd be able to provide that layer underneath where transactions can go through our blockchain, right? So that's one of the ways.
Yeah, so do you think what does the trust cooperation do with in the future?
I think blockchain projects are competing each other to acquire user and to educate this market, the general public, to know about blockchain, to know the benefit of the cryptocurrency. So in that part, we are competing each other for user acquisition. But there's always room for cooperation. Just like Colin mentioned, that we have helped the Harmony Puzzle with our photo grid partner. So we want to bring as much as possible for those users to join this community and to have a taste of what blockchain can bring to them, what's the advantage of blockchain and cryptocurrency. So I think we focus on the content part, and we have already got like 60 million monthly active users we can reach out. So in that part, we want to make those blockchain projects like Harmony, those great projects we can help to do the user acquisition.
The blockchain Contentos have the prominent features compared to the other blockchains, specialized in the digital contents. So before you release in the mainnet, you have a lot of users. So how do you see should advantage that?
Okay, for that part, I think we're lucky to be the partner with Cheetah Mobile. So they got LiveMe, they got Photogrid and Cheese, which I just said that they can get. They have 60 million monthly active users in the blockchain world. So for the past year, we have tried some token economy integration with those apps. That is how we educate the massive user to earn costs. And when you do positive things in our content ecosystem, you will get reward. So it's a pioneer test for our dream, and I think it will come true when our mainnet launch in this September.
So for the app earning the money from the digital content such as Facebook, TikTok. So what's the advantages of the cost.tv that you have to compete with all the social media above?
Okay. Cost.tv is our latest product, and we want to make it not only the blockchain version of YouTube, but we want to make it ultimately a YouTube that people would like to find interesting content on there in future. So for now, we are trying to learn as much as possible from our users on how they will consume the content and how they like to produce the content. Get in touch with the community as much as possible. So that's why we hold meetup everywhere, and we want to learn from our users.
So talk about the Galam. So I see that three well-known characters pay much attention to the Harmony, such as Binance, like CZ, and the CEO of Contentos, Hawkinson, and the founder Ethereum and Vitalik. So what do you think about this?
I think it's very flattering. So I think Charles Hoskinson. We recently got a comment from Vitalik on how we do our incentive mechanism, and I think it does come from a lot of it comes from I feel like our tech and the innovation under the tech has been kind of, I'm not very technical, but I'm leading the marketing. So there's a lot of gold that's underneath right now that we're not extracting, and thankfully, some of these top players in the industry, Charles Hoskinson or Vitalik, they're starting to find out, some of the innovations that Harmony has as a protocol that's a little bit different than, the existing protocols out there.
Yeah. So no other blockchains like such a performance with the 10 million transaction.
That's our vision.
Yeah.
That's our.
So can you share about this? And so do you think that's easy helpful for the futures for the user?
Yeah. So our CEO Steven, our mission statement is to trust. To scale trust for billions, and to create a radically fair economy, right?
Yes.
Layers that these private companies are using to extract your data and monetize them. Facebook, Google, a lot of these are private. So which means that company people like you and me, we don't really have a system, or we don't really have a public layer in that world. I think the way we should be compensated and the definition of work will be changed. And we believe that blockchain is one of those ways where we provide protocols like us, like a public protocol that's highly scalable, can provide that public layer where people can start, uploading their data and then validating who used it, and then in turn get paid for that data, right? Because at the end of the day, data is work.
Yeah.
Meaning that, like you go everywhere and you add value with your data, because they take that and create ads, they create insights, they create products out of it. But right now, you don't see any of that benefit going to you.
Yeah.
So as we become more and more, I guess, data-driven economy, I think blockchain and projects that are providing that public layer will become more important. Yeah, just in terms of making the economy a little bit more fair, and creating more opportunities for people.
So it's kind of like bring the beneficials for the large institutions when you use the harmonies with the performance 10 million transactions per second. It's really
Yeah, that's our vision. So the way our protocol works is that it's something called sharding, right? So Zilliqa does it. I think there's a couple other projects that do it. So it just means that instead of blockchain, one chain processing everything, you kind of divide out blockchain into multiple different pieces, right?
Yeah.
So consensus happens everywhere. It's a parallel processing. So the more nodes you have, the faster your blockchain gets, right? Yeah. So that's the idea of our blockchain, and ideally, when we say 10 million, we want to be that public blockchain that has significant amount of global nodes that are running our blockchain, so that we have as many shards as possible, and then all of those shards are parallel processing to make sure that all the transactions in our system are scaling up to 10 million.
Yeah. Thank you. So how about check? So I thought we know that the CZ put more concerns about your project. So always use when your Contentos post the articles on the Twitter. So he always retweets your posts. Yeah. So what do you think about this?
We're proud to be a Binance Labs portfolio company. So we work closely with Binance. We just switched to Binance Chain last month. So we're now also listed on Binance DEX. So we want to explore any possibility with Binance, because I think CZ is always a builder that Binance and the Binance family, like Harmony and us, we are always building for this ecosystem together. So I think being part of it, we are able to share those vision and share those the advantages among those companies, those projects. So I think it's good to be on the focus, and also this make us want to build harder toward our dreams come true.
What do you think, Harmony? So what do you think about the Harmony IEO on the Binance Chain? So is it difficult to cooperate with Binance?
The way they decide which projects should be on Binance, it's very rigorous. They would look at literally everything about your project, including your token model, the stability of the network, the team. It's like everyone looks at it, but Binance looks at it with the microscope to a point where it's they want to see, once you're kind of on the short list of projects that are likely to go on Binance, then they want to see progress every single day, right? They want every single day. Yeah, they want to see how fast you can move as a project, right? It's very rigorous. It's very it's very strict and rigorous process that with a high bar that you need to meet, right? So going through this process with Binance was it was a good wake-up call for us as well, to see how fast we can move as a team, right? Because I mean, when we applied, there were a lot of projects in front of us, right? But I think through execution and we made a puzzle. We made one of the most popular dApps in a week. So we made that dApp in a week, right? So it's just the execution power of the team, and being able to kind of come together as one team and towards that one goal. I think that we learned that through the Binance process because it was so high bar and it was so strict and it was very rigorous, right? Everyone was staying till like 12 a.m., 1 a.m. to like do updates and make sure that, you know, like our code's being right, make sure that business team is closing partnerships, different funding or nodes, right? So I think, yeah, like I think working through, it was difficult in the sense that the process and the due diligence process was very high bar. But at the same time, I think we grew a lot as a team, yeah, through that.
It's very hard, like take a lot of like process, the strict process to work with the Binance.
Yeah.
And so talk about the chain. So why did the Contentos Binance Labs invest on your project Contentos?
We are the project with really existing app with those massive users. So that's why Binance would like to see how we can convert them to be the crypto users or to enter the blockchain world. Like in Vietnam, many users knows about us through Cheese, through our short video app. So they really enjoy the content, the short video from Cheese, and also they earned a little bit about our called COS token. So we are trying to scale it up. So we're now not only working with Chica Mobile for those 3 apps, we are also building our cost.tv to try to reach more users with the interesting videos and content.
Have the headquarter in the Silicon Valley. So in the US, so however, that is banned from calling for friends from the American community to crypto projects. So what strategy does Hammy have to deal with such problem?
So our coins are actually issued in Panama. So we're a Panama-based foundation, which is outside of US. But you know, the team is pretty decentralized. I think we have teams, you know, in US, but as well as Korea. We have team in China. We have team in like, you know, Vietnam as well. So like it's pretty decentralized, and then I think that's one of the things that makes blockchain projects a lot advantageous in terms of like regulations and stuff, just because of how decentralized it is, right? But at the same time, I think the bigger picture of it is, I don't know if you know, but I think Blockstream. Blockstream, they just announced the first SEC approved IEO. Wow. So they made a big step towards, you know, the cryptocurrency and blockchain IEO, all of that process being more regulation friendly and compliant, right? So it's already like moving in that direction. So I don't see SEC and, you know, blockchain and cryptocurrency as, you know, head to head, like them trying to, you know, like prevent projects from, you know, like growing. I don't see it as that. I feel like the industry is moving more towards, you know, projects more becoming compliant, and projects and SEC trying to find out the middle ground on like how we can make sure that, you know, if we do fundraising or if we do token sale, right? Just how to make sure that, you know, like it's safe for the investors and it's safe for the public, right? Because that's what they're trying to do. Project and as an ecosystem, we're slowly kind of like maturing up to that standard. Right after it's been 3 years, 2 years, 3 years since our first IEO and first ICOs and, you know, like the ICO boom, right? So now I think we're getting into more the industry and ecosystem and, you know, the phase of the blockchain projects where people are mature enough, people know more, so that they know how to navigate that legal system and then be more compliant, right? So
blockchain platform have like missed some problems to attract the developers for DF and the users. So can you share a bit about how many business strategies in the future to solve that problem?
Yeah, so I think our strategy comes down to a couple of things. So right now, there's like 3 goals that we have. One is, you know, getting the SDKs out. You know, like we want to make sure that we build, you know, like we either migrate or build, you know, like things like MetaMask or some of the SDKs that are available in Ethereum and other places, right? Just because, like, you know, that ecosystem is already developed, and, you know, if we are a public protocol, we need to make sure that, you know, developers have a lot of resource for them to build easily on Harmony, right? So that's one of the things. Planning to do hackathons. We're planning to do like sponsored development, sponsored migration to get the initial bootstrap into like people building on our platform. I think the second thing is making sure that our community. So that's where we're in Vietnam, that's where we're in Asia, that's where we're in like going to Beijing, Korea. We want to make sure that people know what our project is about, and most importantly, like how well qualified the team behind it is. Because I don't think a lot of people realize, but all our team is pretty much Amazon, Google, Apple, like Harvard, Stanford. Like it's very smart people working on this project right now, and we want to make sure that that confidence gets resonated to the public, right? And then I think third thing is other projects where we're trying to create a revenue model for like whether that's through consulting, whether that's through node operations, in terms of like making revenue and then using that revenue to sustain our project instead of just constantly using funding, right? So 3 goals. We're trying to get, we're trying to build this really stable ecosystem where developers can come in, they can work on a project, we have money to, like incentivize them. It's kind of the ecosystem that we're thinking to create at 2020.
Very about this. Okay, so I'll talk about the Contentos. Besides the USA, and China is the second country to ban the community invest the crypto projects. So what the obstacles does the Contentos have?
I think for the funding part, we're lucky that most of should be all of our fundings comes from venture capitals, so we don't have ICO directly. But for the people in the US or in China, if they want to invest us, I think there's a way that they can buy our token. But this is just the easiest way. But will grow its value by the user, by the community. So I would encourage all the users to try to use our dApps, try to use the partner apps we have, and to make their masterpiece on the ecosystem. So they will get the ecosystem reward in the future when our mainnet is launched.
I hope that in the future you have more strategy to expand your Contentos ecosystem to the Vietnamese, to make sure that Vietnamese community to know more about your projects. Okay, so the last question is what do you deliver a message to the Vietnamese community? We start with the Harmony.
What do we deliver? I think that the only message that we want to deliver is that, we want to make sure that we communicate Vietnam is one of our priorities, right? Like we do want to make sure, like the reason why we're here is because we want to see the community. We want to see, like we want to convey that we do care. Like even if we're in like all the way across Pacific, in San Francisco, we want to make sure that we keep in touch and keep in tabs with the Asian community, especially like the community we think has a high potential. So like I'll be moving to Korea soon. So from San Francisco, I'll be moving to Korea, and then I guess the message is like expect to see a lot more of us.
And how about content?
I would like to express our appreciation for the Vietnam community because we have a strong community here, and it's flattered to be a popular blockchain project here in Vietnam. So in the future, I would say that we will keep working with those KOLs here in Vietnam and try to deliver our advantages and also share the great news with Vietnam community. So July is amazing. We just got listed on Binance DEX, so it enables more users to exchange the token and exchange the value. So in the future, I think when our platform is getting more mature, and more great content will be on it. So I would like to urge the Binance community to try to give it a try and let us know your feedback.
Since there's all of you guys that has a partnership with each other, so I hope that all of you guys will get a achievement in the future. And then thank you so much for your useful information that you gave us as well from Vietnamese community to know about both Project Harmony and Contentos. Thank you so much for all of audience support the Harmony as Contentos as well as Pico Capital. Thank you.